As we wrap up 2025, one thing's clear. Uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Noble Gold Investments helps Americans protect what they've built with real gold and silver, holding value when everything else feels uncertain. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com and take your first step toward a safe future. This holiday season, when you open up a qualified account, you'll receive 10 1-ounce commemorative silver holiday coins. Visit Noble Gold today. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair. My favorite thing about the holidays? Decking out my whole house. It's not a competition, but if it was, well, I'd win the season with Wayfair. Outdoor inflatable Santa? Got it on Wayfair. Trees, lights, and ornaments? Wayfair. Hosting must-haves like dining sets, beds, sheets, and towels? Wayfair. For everything in your style delivered with fast and free shipping, visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app to win the season. But again, it's not a competition.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You're listening to Slasher Radio.
Hey guys, Bones and Cass, aka Makeup Mistress from Slasher Radio here, and welcome to the post-game show for the Dead by Daylight 9th anniversary event. We are about to be joined by Mathieu Cote, Head of Partnerships for Behavior Interactive, Game Director for Dead by Daylight, to go over everything in the 9th anniversary live stream, and we get to ask further questions about everything announced and everything coming to Dead by Daylight. Just a little heads up for everybody. Matt had a super busy day, so this conversation's a little bit shorter than our usual with him, but we tried to get as much as we could in for you guys. But before we send you over to that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support us, it helps us tremendously. And also if you want YouTube to recommend you more videos just like these.
I'm very happy to get to talk to you again. Okay, I'll do my spiel. Please feel free to interrupt me, and then I'll ignore you and move on until we get to the questions part.
Perfect.
So yeah, as Ode was saying, we're going to be celebrating at PAX this year our 9th anniversary, which is insane. And it's been a long time since we've been to PAX because of stuff. But going back there for us is kind of emotional and special because this is where everything began for us, right? This is the first time we've ever shown the game to anybody at all at that time. It was a small little black booth with no decorations or anything. It was kind of a magical moment when everything began, which was awesome. This year, we will have 5 releases, and I say releases, not chapter, just because of the shape of chapters with killers and survivors and maps is not always respected anymore. So I'm just going to say we have 5 big releases this year. 3 of them will be licenses, which is a lot. And then 2 of them will be our own original creations. The next original chapter that we will be presenting is going back to our roots of very, very classic horror stuff, much closer to what we've done with All Things Wicked, for instance. But in a sense, also, it's very inspired by folklore or myths from other people. So we're going to dig in other people's cultures to see what kind of boogeymen live under their bed, like we've done with the Huntress or the Spirit to a certain extent. So this is going to be super exciting. Now, the big moment right now, of course, is us talking about our very next chapter to be released, which is Five Nights at Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy, I don't need to tell you, is one of the biggest indie horror games. Is it even possible to call it indie nowadays? Yeah. Tough to say, but it certainly was 10 years ago when it released, almost the same time as us. It was a small little indie horror game, and it caught people by surprise, and it became a gigantic thing. It's one of the most requested IPs that we've had since we started Dead by Daylight. So we're very happy to bring them into the world of the entity right now. We will also, I'll let you know right now, the killer for this chapter will be Springtrap, known in our game as the animatronic. Not only is he by far the darkest character in that world, but he's sort of the main guy. He's the main villain. He's the reason why all of these terrible, terrible things are happening. So for us, it was sort of a no-brainer that he should be the guy, right? He will be sacrificing people. He will be hunting down people. It is the very first time that players will be able to incarnate Springtrap. Nobody's ever been able to play him in games. So that's pretty damn cool for us to be able to do.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. That's yeah. It's not like there's going to be intense scrutiny from two very avid packs of fan, both on our sides and theirs.
No way.
What else is there?
Uh-huh.
What else are we going to do, right? Something subtle. But so in this, we will be releasing a bunch of cosmetics, of course, as usual. But one of them I want to mention right now. We are going to have one of the legendary outfits for Springtrap will be from the movie that was released a little while ago, 2023. And it is the Yellow Rabbit, including Matthew Lillard's face, which is going to be our game.
Wow.
And he was very generous with his time, and he recorded all the VOs for the characters. So you're going to get Matthew Lillard, the awesomely cool guy in Dead by Daylight, reprising his role of the Yellow Rabbit, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I mean, we always strive for sort of the authentic flavor as much as we can, and in this case, it was really great to be able to add him in there. Now, important to note, this chapter will not feature any survivors, but we couldn't bring Five Nights at Freddy's into the fog without including the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria as a new map. We took a lot of inspiration from the original FNAF setting, and it is one of the maps that we have packed the most Easter eggs and surprises and little moments and jump scares in. So we absolutely cannot wait for you to see it. And to help you see it, we will also be debuting in this a new quality of life feature that we've introduced that will now be part of our Dead by Daylight Forever. When we release a new map, there will now be a queue that you can enter that is going to be this map exclusively.
Nice.
So people don't have to do like custom matches with their friends. You can actually play the game, but in
That's
a
awesome.
special queue that's just for that. There will, of course, be a queue where you can play the game as normal, but we wanted to make sure that people get to... I mean, a lot of people just want to see the new map when it releases, and we'll give them a way to do that better. There's going to be a lot more details on the perks and powers and everything in a big stream that we'll do right after, well, not right after, but after our big broadcast. We don't have the exact moment yet. We'll let you know, of course. More news. So collections have become a much bigger part of Dead by Daylight in the last few years. It used to be just a small little pack of costumes. Now it has become really big. Things that we've done like Attack on Titan or Iron Maiden or stuff like that is taking quite a bit of a place. So we are going to do more of those. And some of the most exciting ones I'm going to talk about, we are going to have The Witcher in Dead by Daylight.
Oh.
So that's 6 new outfits. 2 of them are legendaries. So that's the Leshen is going to be an outfit for the artist. And then Vittorio is going to become Geralt of Rivia, of course. And he's going to be voiced by Doug Cockle, who's the original voice actor from the game. Again, our efforts to bring as much authentic flavor as we can. And the other outfits will present Yennefer, Ciri, Triss, and Eridan. So, most of the major characters in the game are going to be represented. Now, we're also going to be able to bring in things like the wolf head medallion charm, of course, and things that we're very happy with, especially Ode. We're going to have the player card of Geralt in his tub, because it's tough to talk about The Witcher without that, right? It's either that or the unicorn scene, which might be a bit much for us. Okay, next, I don't know if you've seen, last year we had the great joy of working with the Boulet brothers and their Dragula season.
Nice.
To have one of our, well, essentially they had an episode in which the contestants had to create a Dead by Daylight killer essentially with their Mori and their look and everything. I had the absolute pleasure of being there as a guest judge. And so this year we will release as a legendary outfit for the Huntress, the winner outfit of this episode, which was created by Asia Consent. We're also going to bring in for the artist a legendary outfit that essentially recreates the classic look of the Boulet brothers themselves. So that's the full-on latex black and red outfit. It's going to be awesome, and they are voicing that character also.
Nice.
Yeah, that one was a super fun collaboration to get into, I can tell you. On top of that, we are also bringing Frank Stone. So in the casting of Frank Stone, we introduced a new killer, a new character, of course, in that supermassive game. We are going to bring Frank Stone as a legendary for the Trapper. And our friend Laura Croft, who's already in the game, will receive quite a few new outfits that we're missing, including her tactical outfit and the unified Laura, and a few others. I'm going through things really, really fast because I want to leave room for your questions, which I know will be astute and quite insightful.
Yeah, of course.
The last thing I want to talk about is I mentioned that our next original chapter is going to be classic horror inspired by other people's folklore. The other original chapter that we're going to release next year, I have no idea what it's going to be. And the reason is because we're going to do something we call Choose Your Own Chapter. And essentially, that's very much inspired by the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I don't know if you, like me, read those when you were a kid, or even last week, who knows. But we are going to, and that's going to be starting almost after our broadcast, maybe in the weeks following that. We are going to start a big narrative with branching options, and we're going to have the community vote on the different options, and this will educate and sort of build the chapter as we move along that narrative. Things like, do you want the killer to be rooted in reality or supernatural? Do you want a survivor that is contemporary or from days gone by? Is it someone in the occult? Is it an undead character? All of these things will help educate what the chapter will be. One of the things usually when you read those books is, you get to a choice and then you go peek at the few different options. And we're going to do something like that, which essentially when the community votes on an option, we will then let them know what the other path would have led to. And we will allow people to vote to say, oh, do we keep that result or do we go back and change it to what the other path would have been? So this is very experimental. This is something that we dreamed up and thought this was going to be really, really cool. Who knows? I think that the ride is going to be amazing, and I know that the final result is going to be a really cool chapter that we're going to create together. But I'm very curious to see how that actually ends up being. It's going to be a fun ride. Now I take a breath and I let you talk for a moment.
All right, so you guys don't got anything going on, really, apparently.
Yeah.
That is so much stuff. Like, oh my god,
We're busy.
Extremely. All right, just because you just mentioned it, the Choose Your Own chapter, that is a very ballsy move. You mentioned that the end result is going to be great, and it almost has to be, right? Because you're saying, okay, well, you could have picked this, but maybe you could have that. So then it's like, okay, this better be good.
Well, the thing is, you're right. Fear of missing out is real, right?
Right.
And we don't want people to bitch and moan saying, oh my God, it could have been so much better.
Right.
Well, some people will, for sure. But in a way, it's also a very real window into what our process is, right? Whenever we...
As we wrap up 2025, one thing's clear. Uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Noble Gold Investments helps Americans protect what they've built with real gold and silver, holding value when everything else feels uncertain. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com and take your first step toward a safe future. This holiday season, when you open up a qualified account, you'll receive 10 1-ounce commemorative silver holiday coins. Visit Noble Gold today. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair. My favorite thing about the holidays? Decking out my whole house. It's not a competition, but if it was, well, I'd win the season with Wayfair. Outdoor inflatable Santa? Got it on Wayfair. Trees, lights, and ornaments? Wayfair. Hosting must-haves like dining sets, beds, sheets, and towels? Wayfair. For everything in your style delivered with fast and free shipping, visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app to win the season. But again, it's not a competition.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
With the state of today's economy, it is more important than ever to invest in products that last for years to come. As the seasons shift and get cooler, make sure your closet is stocked with durable layers that stand the test of time from American Giant. American Giant's clothes work harder and are wearable season after season. Their greatest hoodie ever made is made of the highest quality materials that are cut and sewn right here in the United States. So you're investing right back into your local community. Choosing American Giant means taking a stand for American manufacturing and hardworking Americans, something other mega corporations don't care about. From fleece to knit, all in a range of colors for versatile daily wear, American Giant delivers everyday pieces designed for everyday life. Feel the difference of quality made-to-last clothes from American Giant. Get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off your first order at american-giant.com with code STAPLE20.
Create an original chapter, we always ask ourselves these questions. What should the next one be? Should it be grounded? Should it be something otherworldly? Is it supernatural? Is it a physical killer? Is it something like this, like that? All of these questions are something that we sit around the table and discuss internally. So it's a way for people to see a little bit what is our reality and why do we make the choices that we do. And we don't want to end up with a Bodie McBoatface kind of thing. So there's not going to be a field of entry where people put in stuff. All the options, we expect them to lead to something that could be really cool. So that's kind of the point. Like there's no wrong answers in this whole thing.
Right. Amazing idea though to open it up like that. That is probably, you talk about trying to be a company that listens to your base and all that stuff. I mean, that's the ultimate, it's literally choosing what comes into the game, which is a lot of work goes into either choice, obviously.
But that's the thing. And hopefully, like I keep saying, I think the end result is going to be really cool. I have no doubt. But to me, that journey that we're going to take together is going to be the fun part.
Right.
Like that's what I'm really curious about. Like how are those conversations gonna pan out? But we'll see. But you're right, it's kind of a ballsy move. It was kind of a bold way to do things because it's more work than doing an original chapter. It's clearly more risk, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah. Looking forward to the lead up, like you said, more than the actual. It's like a double whammy.
Yeah, and it's gonna start, like I said, about 2 weeks after our big broadcast when we announce it to people. But it should take, like, I span maybe a year of that production cycle.
That was gonna be my next question, and that answers it, because you would have to seemingly have 2 chapters ready. You know what I mean? But enough time for development. Yeah,
that's it. And that's it, because we sort of have a plan already with the branches and the questions that we're going to ask, and we clearly have not designed things the whole way already.
Right.
But we will need to at some point. But we have about 1,000 different possible answers at the end, at the time, with the questions that we have. So we'll be designing it as we go along.
Right.
And nothing is ever wasted in our efforts anyway, because we do have a similar process, like I say, internally, and we develop something for original and we go, oh, this would have been really cool, but we have to choose, and this other one is better suited to what we have. So let's just keep that one in a box for another time, right? We do have a couple of those sort of ideas that are not completely fleshed out, but are already interesting that we know that we might reuse later. And so nothing is wasted.
Some of the best ideas are on the cutting room floor. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I kind of look at these discussions that we have, especially this time of year, as like a post-game show for the anniversary event in a way. And you mentioned so many things that we need to talk about, but I wanted to quickly brush over. You guys had released Tokyo Ghoul recently, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
working with them. You went to the Tatama event in Japan. You guys haven't been there in like 6 years or something like that. What was that? How important was that release to you guys? Because you could tell how much time went into making it right, and that attention to detail was a big deal.
I think that this year you've seen a few moments when, I mean, we set that cadence, right, of delivery of content almost 10 years ago now, like 4 chapters a year. And then we keep adding more stuff, and we've added the archives, and we've added things in between, and we've added more and more stuff. And then the collections in between that became bigger and bigger. And then on top of that, every chapter that we've made, every map has more Easter eggs, more details in. Every killer has a few more up. Like, it became so big without ever slowing down the cadence. I think that this year we've shown that we're willing to allow ourselves to push things a little bit, like to make room for quality of life and fixes and polishes, and making sure that whatever we release is something that everybody involved is going to be incredibly proud. And that includes our partners, right? So yeah, you're right. Tokyo Ghoul, we could not release a Tokyo Ghoul thing that the Tokyo Ghoul fans would not be absolutely happy with. And for that, we need the help of our partner, because even though we actually do have quite a few fans of that franchise in the team, they know their fans much better than we ever could.
Yeah. And introducing another aspect for people to be proud of, the Steady Pulse is up. Well, by the time this comes, this is the podcast time is in the future. So usually, but is already out by the time this releases, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Steady Pulse, Arella Rose, you guys worked with Angelica Ross for voicing.
That was super cool.
Super cool. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into here. You tied in Sable's story with Arella, and obviously there's a lot of depth into her lore. Can you talk about how, because this is already a fan favorite. It hasn't even come out yet on the PTB. How important was this release?
It was very important. I mean, to a certain extent, whenever we're working on something, it is the most important thing we've ever done, because we tried to stay focused on something. And even just by the nature of how we release things, and we need to focus on what we're doing. We don't have a big team that's just looking at the ongoing everything else. But in this case, specifically with Steady Pulse, there was so much writing on it, and we knew it was going to be scrutinized to an extent that is rarely seen. We needed to get it absolutely right, and I think we managed to knock it out of the park. But yeah, it's fun when we can do these kind of things with our own original stuff, and especially it's fun to see that the reception to our original stories is as dynamic and excited as anything else that we can do with other people. When you touch upon something, when you talk about our story and how we intertwine them, it used to be the story was very light in Dead by Daylight. If I think I'm in a nostalgic mood these days, because we're going back to PAX where everything began. But like, if you think about the first year of Dead by Daylight, most of the story was told through like flavor text in offerings and add-ons and things like that. It was very, very light on the storyline. And as time went on, we added more and more, and characters that actually have, like, you know, Elodie as very deep roots into the world of the entity and tells much more of the story than an Ace, for instance, would tell. And having the opportunity to sort of mix these stories together and answer a few questions here, while, of course, opening up a couple more questions at the same time, is something that we enjoy doing quite a lot.
That's the fun of it. And it's a whole new world of the game and a whole new kind of dimension of the game that is interested in lore before anything else. And, you know, you guys are nailing that side of it as well, which is important.
Yeah, I fell into a bit of a deep hole on YouTube the other day. I found a couple of people who only do like deep dive into the lore of each character and how they connect to each other, and like trying to find out. It's literally like just speculation and theories, and it's really fun because they do see stuff that I mean, even I read everything that we do, and I pay quite a lot of attention, but there's stuff that I missed, like because we have a very clever narrative designer somewhere who wrote a couple of lines, throwaway lines in a book or something that are actually tied into something else. That's really cool. Also, there's stuff that people make links where there are none, maybe, but it's fun too.
Yeah, and I was going to add, that kind of goes into what I was going to ask you. How much do you guys keep that in mind when creating it? And I know part of the chuckle is there. Part of it's the fun of wanting the speculation, and because I mean that's what it's all about. But how much is that in mind?
There are a couple of guiding principles, right? Like, for instance, never answer a question without asking a few more. Like, it's important that whenever we clarify something, we blur a few others, or that it leads to, it could mean that, but then we don't tell you. Like, this is a world that is by definition
and design
unfathomable. It's unfathomable. And that's kind of the point of the entity also, right? There's a lot of people, and that's the great thing as a narrative tool, and that's me maybe geeking out on how to tell stories, but it's possible for characters in Dead by Daylight to talk about the world of the entity and how it works and what the entity feeds on, for instance, or why it does the things it does. And they can talk about it with absolute certainty. But it doesn't mean that it's true. It just means that these characters think it's true enough and talk about it with certainty. And that's great, because then it's presented as gospel, but then it's on the surface and we can break that later or say something that's contradictory, and it's not breaking our fiction. It just means that that person was wrong.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Okay,
yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. This is by far the most anticipated license possible.
I mean, there's a couple that people have been screaming about for ages, but that's definitely on top of anybody's list.
Yeah. You had a lot of choices to make here, and you know the speculation has been going on well before you guys even announced it. Like you said, the demand for Five Nights at Freddy's has been through the roof. You went with Springtrap. That was kind of I from what I've seen, the majority of what people wanted. How much did that go into making that decision, or what was it internally with coming up with, okay, who are we going to use?
Honestly, there were a couple of options of how we could have gone about doing that. Like the original band of animatronics on stage at the pizzeria is an option, but really, if you look at the whole world of Five Nights at Freddy, Springtrap is the reason why everything happens. He is the bad guy, and on top of that, he is also by far the darkest creation in that world. Like, he's not a robot gone rogue or programmed by someone evil. He's a supernatural, weird mix of human and machine, and it's just very, very dark, actually. I'm surprised that it's in a PG-13 thing, but he is a really, really dark character, and it's fun because working with the creator on that and sitting down and going, okay, it's usually the first question we ask, right? When you're getting into the world of Dead by Daylight, it's not so much the character being plucked out of their world and put into ours. It's what would a nightmare about Five Nights at Freddy look like? And that's the question usually. And in this case, it would be the most horrific version of Springtrap, and that's what we tried to do.
Now, were there any other FNAF characters that were considered but ultimately not chosen for this chapter?
Yeah, there were conversations. We did look at a lot of options, but in the end, sitting down with the creator, I think everybody agreed pretty quickly that this was the best way to make sure that fans on both sides, both Dead by Daylight.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
Fans and Five Nights at Freddy's fan would be fully satisfied. I mean, some people will bitch, that's inevitable, but this was, we believe it's the best offering that we could do. And then again, we have the luxury of the legendary outfits. So even, yeah, it's true, it's Springtrap, but then you can also be the yellow rabbit, you know, with Matthew Lillard's face. So really, what are you complaining about?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Let Matthew Lillard on pretty much anything. It's better, right? Right out of the
There
box.
you go.
You mentioned legendary skins, and I don't know if this is something that you could discuss or it has even been discussed already. We've seen things like Naughty Bear and so many other legendary skins that Naughty Bear's awesome, that create a whole new character within that character, and it's kind of like its own killer in certain aspects. Is this something that you have discussed doing or would like to do with, you know, Freddy Fazbear or any other of the other animatronics to have as a legendary skin?
Yes. However, there is a sort of there are boundaries in there, and one of them that is very, very clear, at least in our conversations with Scott, is that the power set that we created for Springtrap needs to make sense for whoever you become, right? And for him, it was very, very important that the characters in his universe do not act in a way that is opposed to how they are portrayed in his creation so far. So with that in mind, there's only a subset of legendary outfits that work within that frame.
Okay.
I know it's a little vague in places, but that's the best answer I can give you right now.
It's a straightforward answer in its own way. You know, if you pay attention to the characters and what they do, and, you know, it makes total sense. You mentioned working with Scott, though. Everyone, and we asked, I don't know how much of it we'll be able to get to, but we asked our community for some questions on what they want to know, and we plucked here and there.
Sure.
What we seen come up a lot was working with Scott, and everyone knows how passionate he is about Five Nights at Freddy's and his property, and that, rightfully so. What was it like working with him? How much influence did he have? Because last time we talked, you guys were still in the process of working with him. Now it's pretty much all said and done. What was that like?
Whenever we work directly with a creator, it's more intense, let's say, because they care, right? If I talk to some guy at Disney, for instance, to pick one, I mean, I love working with Disney. They're absolutely amazing. But when I talk to someone at Disney, I talk to someone who is, let's say, person in charge of relationships to external licensing for these characters. That's a very specific title, and that's their job, and it's a very professional conversation, as opposed to talking to someone who is the creator of something like this. And when you talk to them about their creation, there's something much more emotionally grabbing for them and for us, because we are dealing with a property that we have a lot of respect for and that we think is great, or else we wouldn't want it in our game. And so we are cautious, and we want to make sure that we represent it well, and we're talking to someone who's emotionally involved. So clearly there's going to be more intensity to those conversations, but at the same time it means that you have a little more freedom, and you also have the ultimate source of information and context. Like, why is this character the way they are? Why are they doing what they do? What would they do in this situation? So yeah, it's great. It's great.
Now, I had a question. How is it working with Matthew Lillard? I love him.
Cass is like obsessed.
I'm a huge fan of him.
So these voice recording sessions tend to be short. It's a one short, like 2-3 hours. So our interactions were quite limited, right? But he's the nicest guy. Like, he is he is as nice as you think he is. Keep thinking that he is. Absolutely true in every respect. He's awesome. He wants this to be the best that he can. And I can tell you that during our broadcast next week, we do have a little clip of him. So yeah, tune in.
Nice.
It's very exciting.
It is. All right. So now I have to ask it. And Matthew Lillard, you guys were working together. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, you guys have Ghostface in the game.
Yep.
Were there any side
What are
conversations?
you getting at?
No. Were there any thoughts, or at least internally in your head, like, man, that would be something cool, even though I understand the licenses are different?
The licenses are different.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be cool. You're not the only one who's had those thoughts. Yeah, Scream, very important in the horror culture. I mean, you could say Scooby-Doo, also very important in the horror culture. He's Shaggy, right? Yeah, we've all had those thoughts. We've all had those fluttery eye moments when we're like, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful? And the short answer is mixing licenses, like having two things joined, is exceedingly difficult at the best of times.
Fair enough. Damn licenses always getting in the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so this opens the door now. Well, it doesn't open the door. It's been happening already. But Five Nights at Freddy's kind of, when you take the biggest of something, you know, like you guys have collaborated with other games plenty of times.
Yep.
Is this something, and I guess it kind of could tie into Tokyo Ghoul as well with the anime aspect. Is this opening the door even further for Dead by Daylight? Because we've seen you guys are known for, like, Ghostface and Freddy, the movie titles. Are you looking to collaborate with more indie horror games?
I mean, it's true, but at the same time, that door has been thrown wide open a while ago, right? Silent Hill and Resident Evil brought us the world of video games many years ago now. Tokyo Ghoul, Attack on Titan. We've done some other forms of storytelling mediums. Iron Maiden, Slipknot. I mean, we've stretched the definition of what it means to be part of the horror world already. Adding something like The Witcher and even Lara Croft to a certain extent also stretches what it means to be part of horror, because these characters are not obvious to anybody who lists horror franchises, but you cannot argue that The Witcher has faced horrors in his stories, and the same with Lara Croft, right? So they're not out of place. If we were talking 6 years ago, they might have been, but today they're not. Dead by Daylight is vast. It is a dynamic world full of surprises and things that you did not expect to see, and people like Nick Cage, but it still maintains a cohesive story, a backbone that is there, solid, and a support for all of those really interesting things that'll keep people on their toes.
And Five Nights at Freddy's, now we have the benefit of being able to ask the question: is this chapter based on the games, the Blumhouse film that came out, you know, Matthew Lillard being tied to that, or is it just a kind of combination of both?
It's a combination of both, but mostly it is the games, right? There are a lot of games. Let's say, for instance, when you talk about the map that we created, that pizza place is very much from the first game. It has appeared in many forms, in many other ways, but this was our original inspiration, because in many cases, especially when we have access to all of it, whatever the case, right? If we're talking about Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or whatever, we tend to like to focus on the source material, the original one. It's just our go-to. It's not always possible, and sometimes there's exceptions. But in this case, we wanted to go to the most, the place where it all began, again, I guess it's the theme right now.
Going back to the cosmetics legendaries,
Yep.
can we expect different Moris to come along with any other characters?
Yes,
As we've seen.
That's the short answer.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely. That's been a top request from the team even before it became a top request from the players. And yes, you will see legendary outfits that come with a Mori.
Now, is that legendary skin going to be live with the release of the chapter?
I believe it is. Ode, correct me. Don't correct me. It's true. Okay.
I think so, but let's confirm when we see
Yeah,
the
okay.
press release,
Yeah, that's
but
the
I
thing is,
believe.
We'll revisit.
Yeah.
You might have got another bleep there. That'll be your second.
no, but that's okay. The
Okay.
thing is, this chapter, the release of this chapter and our anniversary and all those things are sort of happening at breakneck speed all at the same time. So some of the approvals, some of the last minute decisions are still happening. That's why we're being lightly blurry on some of the details. But yeah.
You mentioned The Witcher as well.
Yeah.
Big title, very exciting. Ode is very excited about this, clearly.
I mean, it's two.
It's mostly
silver...
just the bathtub.
Well, no, yes, but also two silver foxes. Okay, I am. Yes, this
I
is
don't
great
blame you.
news to me.
It's fine.
Something like this with a title like The Witcher, that could be its own chapter, killer, survive. You know, like, it has that type of caliber to it.
Yeah. Yes, but it's not always just about that.
Right.
Sometimes it's about fit. Sometimes it's about opportunity. Sometimes it's a desire on either our side or the licensor's side to have a different perspective or a different way to present their content. In this case, I think it's really, like I was saying, Lara Croft and The Witcher are two good examples of characters that have lived horrific things, but the franchises as a whole are not horror games.
Right.
By definition. They might be mature, they might be very intense, they might have horror bits in them, but The Witcher is not a horror game. So it was still very interesting for us because even just visually and stylistically, it fits, it's interesting, it's gorgeous, and also we're fans, right? I've played The Witcher 3 so many hours, and the next one that comes out, I'm probably gonna take some time off when it releases because I love those games. So it was just something that we couldn't say no to.
And it's awesome that as players of the game and fans of the game, we don't miss out on any titles like that have that type of potential to be.
Yeah.
You guys have so much backlog of things that you can create as far as full chapters, paragraphs, and all that.
Yeah.
It's gotten to a point where you got to just get it in when you can, and so to speak.
That's it. No, but seriously, our roadmap conversations, right?
Right.
What's next? What's happening in 2026, in 2027, in 2028? Because obviously that's where we're at right now. It's the problem is not, oh, are we going to find something to release? It's where do we put this one? And they're all cool, or else we wouldn't do them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's awesome that it's branching out as far as it is with licenses to other games, movies, and everything else.
And it's funny because we talk about like legends of horror and things, and we started with like Michael Myers and Freddy and Leatherface, but there are things that released 10 years ago that are now considered classics. That like so they released at the same time as us, and now they're classics, and we're like, oh yeah, sure, let's bring them in. But they didn't exist when we launched, right? It's insane that we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah. And just to swing back, I did leave one question out about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
The jump scare aspect, and because that's very important. Very
much so.
I was very late to the Five Nights at Freddy's train and played the game for the first time a couple of years ago. That thing scared the shit out of me several times.
And that's the whole point. And it's interesting. Normally, I've done a lot of those interviews, and Jason is there, he's one of our killer designers, which is a great title. But he talks about the fact that when we came at this we had a series of games which the gameplay is almost completely the opposite of Dead by Daylight, right? You play Five Nights at Freddy's and you just sit quietly, you manage resources, and you try not to get noticed, and you hope that they pass you by. Whereas in Dead by Daylight, if you just stay there, you get killed.
Right.
And so we had to bring in like the jump scares and that sort of building tension as well, while creating a killer. So the killer is not just there to have fun playing as a killer. It has to be there and create tension by its presence. And you're right, Springtrap is a killer that's about intimidation and taunting people and creating jump scares and grabbing you when you least expect it. And that's what we focused on. So I think it's one of those killers, to a certain extent, a bit like Saw, right? When we created the pig, he puts that mask on your head, that helmet thing, and then it becomes your story, right? You live something, and the killer's gone, is already doing something else, and the survivor still has a lot to deal with because of the situation. And we wanted to create something like that because it's important that is respected, right?
Absolutely, yeah. As we're starting to wrap up, the last few things I had to ask you, and this one is near and dear to my heart, and I know it's not, at least from what we see now in the landscape of things, not something that you'll be able to say too much about, but is there any more positivity that you can lend my soul about the Dead by Daylight films?
I wish. Okay. I wish. I mean, I can tell you that it is an ongoing project. It is still very much a subject of conversation for a lot of people paid way more than me. And there are Hollywood professionals currently discussing it and talking about it and building a team around it. If that helps, I'm glad. But that's the extent of what I can say.
It helps a little bit. We had a couple of more. I mean, you touched on a lot of the stuff already, which is a beautiful thing. But another thing that people want, the most asked question by far, is there any more positivity that you can lend for Jason coming to Dead by Daylight? There's a lot of rumors on, off. Do you have any more hope? Any more or less?
How do I answer that?
You don't, but I have to ask it anyway.
No, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There is hope. Absolutely, there is hope. Jason exists. Some people are actually currently managing his estate. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
And we would still very much like to have Jason in the game. Like, that is never going to go away.
Nice. And that is great to hear.
Same goes for Pennywise.
Fair enough.
Of course.
One of the other things that were highly asked, P100 incentives or rewards or anything, that has been talked about a lot. Is there any thought process going on on you guys' end for that?
I don't have the details of that, but I am quite confident in saying that something is coming in this year. Before we celebrate our 10th anniversary, you will have had things change on that front.
Nice. Okay. And speaking of the 10th anniversary, you talked about how long you guys have been around and just growing and everything. 10 years. Next year, a whole decade. Are you guys already planning for that? Because that's got to be, talk about more pressure. It's like, it's the big one.
Well, to a certain extent, I live my life in the future, right? My job is discussing possible licenses. And, if you think about the fact that once we sign it with someone and we're saying, okay, let's do it, there's at least a year before it gets released. It means that I mostly have conversations about 2 years down the line.
Right.
So yeah, we're already looking at 10th year anniversary. I can tell you though that the celebration itself is gonna be big. If I have my word in this, it's gonna be gigantic. We want everybody to jump in and partake in that celebration for sure.
Nice.
But it's hard because we talk about that and we're like, no, but the 9th is right now. Like, yeah, no, we'll be there. It's gonna be awesome. But 10 needs to be even bigger. So yeah. But speaking of that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and you guys have Five Nights at Freddy's coming out. That's the thing. How do you top that?
No, but it's funny because you asked me the same thing when we released Nick Cage, right? How do you top that? And every time it's the same question. I wake up in the middle of the night, sweating, screaming, going, how do we one-up ourselves?
Yeah.
And we seem to find ways. I think that this year and last year, we showed a tendency to try more fun things. And by that, I mean like the 2v8, the Lights Out, the Chaos Shuffle, the My Little Oni, even the Choose Your Own Chapter. These kind of things are not, we don't do them because they're easy. We do them because they look like they're going to be a bunch of fun, right?
Right.
And so you're going to see more of that if I can have my way with that. It's our way also to keep surprising people, to keep the game fresh, to keep the experience interesting. And then as far as pure chapters releasing, we have to continue to bring you things that you go, oh my God, I didn't think you would do that. I mean, when we released Iron Maiden, I think a few people were taken aback. They didn't think that it was possible to do something like that. And now it's like, oh, yeah. Of course there's music in Dead by Daylight. What else? So, yeah, we need to find something else. But we have ideas.
And you guys managed to do that even within 5 days. Let's be honest. Leading up to the anniversary, especially it being announced last year, everyone was like, oh, it's probably 5 nights. You know, that was the assumption in the air. But now it's like, okay, yes, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, Matthew Lillard. It's just the bar went up.
And on that note, before we wrap up, I should tell you on the anniversary broadcast that we're going to have next week, there is one big news that we didn't talk about today.
Okay.
And it's because we are going to talk about it in a very, very different way this time. So you should pay very close attention to that stream.
Okay, but it'll be on the anniversary live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so everybody listening to this knows about that already, so lucky you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, but no, so, yeah. No, yeah. They might not know still.
Ah, damn. All right. I'm going to ask Paulie to borrow some of his tinfoil. We gotta figure this one out.
Exactly. That's exactly for him. I love Paulie to death, and if I can create something that'll make him go a little insane, then my job is done.
My favorite thing you guys do is when you do that while he's live and you can see his brain trying to not explode. So try and get your team to kind of run that stuff around Paulie's stream schedule as best you can.
Well, actually, we know that King is going to be with us at the PAX booth pretty much the whole time we're at PAX. So, yeah, his boyfriend is going to be there, if not Paulie.
Oh, and he didn't bring Paulie. That's messed up.
I mean, it's weird time for Canadians to go to the States, let's say.
I could imagine. But yeah, always love Paulie, always love King, always love you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on again.
Always a pleasure.
I swear these get more and more of a speed round because you guys have so much every time we talk.
Yeah, but also today is kind of special. Like I said, I got to run and do the auction in a few minutes. If not, I like to, stretch my leg. Yeah, I like to spread my legs when I talk to you. No.
Congratulations, you might have topped your own meme. Good for you. We've done a pretty good job so far, and now this. Good job, man.
It's funny because we were talking about that famous sentence that I uttered because I was under the impression that I said that in an interview at PAX, and I was tempted to bring it up when we were on stage and talk about, that's where I said the thing, but it's not. And I cannot still to this day find the original source, which interview that was in. All I was like, I was doing some sleuthing and I was checking the lanyard that I was wearing and trying to from what show it was, and I still couldn't pinpoint it, but I was able to say with certainty that it wasn't PAX.
Well, check the comments here. I'm sure there'll be people
someone
showing
please
you.
find it.
Find the source.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Slasher Radio on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Twitter, all the social media things, especially if you're a fan of horror movies in general. The majority of our content is not on YouTube, so make sure you're following us on all of our platforms if you're into scurry shit as well as Dead by Daylight. We do have a Discord and a Patreon as well, patreon.com/Slasher Radio. Huge shout out to everybody who is already part of the Slasher Radio community over on Discord, Patreon, regular listeners of the show, the usual faces in the comments on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. They're fun, interactive, knowledgeable, lively, and super passionate about the horror genre. Some of them also for Dead by Daylight as well. And I can't even begin to explain how much you guys mean to us. And as always, we have a list of Dead by Daylight and horror variety content creators that are a must follow. So throw all these guys and gals on your watch list and please go show them some love. Thanks for watching and good night from Slasher Radio.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.